Before we get started, check out the description to find out how you can win a Nano Ledger S. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Are words from a great philosopher which can be used to explain Cardano's strategy of rigorous research and development. Cardano began life in 2015, and a great deal of time was used in sharpening the axe by the team of the developers. Currently, the proof of stake has started to cut trees, and this has attracted the interest of countries like China. However, China not only mentioned interest, but also revealed a huge secret that you probably haven't heard yet. Over the last few decades, China has gained international aspirations which are extending its influence all over the world. It turns out that this country and Cardano have identified similar areas of interest. So Cardano is currently posing as an unlikely rival. Quite a lot has been said about China, and much of it is not friendly or complimentary. After experiencing a lull in its power, China re-emerged on the world stage having learned from its past mistakes. It is set to rule by hook or crook and will not tolerate anyone that chooses to stand in its way, including decentralized projects like Cardano. Due to China's spectacular level of development, it has been on course to crash into the middle income trap for decades. However, while it's still nursing its inability to change course, it has managed to postpone the crash by artificially lowering the price of its currency relative to the dollar. This does not resolve the issues that besets it, but it certainly gives the powers ample time to think about the next move and utilize the positive investor sentiment in their favor. Generally, Africa is considered an underdeveloped market with huge potential and population where most people don't have bank accounts. This is why China and Cardano both share expanding their influence there as a goal. Cardano is not at war with China, it's hardly a fight. There are preconceived notions that Cardano does not stand a chance of defeating China. For some, the idea would be silly as trying to defeat a typhoon. Well, Cardano and China can allow their plans to influence and coexist in Africa as long as Cardano remembers who the boss is. Also, China already has a seat at the table, while Cardano is still in the process of getting one as it keeps signing agreements with various African nations. It remains to be seen to what extent the proof-of-stake blockchain can influence the different cultures of the continent. Nevertheless, Cardano's African campaign continues to gain momentum. ADA-verse, Cardano's ecosystem accelerator, participated in the seed funding round for AfriGuild, an African blockchain gaming guild and decentralized autonomous organization. AfriGuild aims to attract 100 million Africans into the crypto and Web3 space. Cardano's intentions for Africa are indeed serious, and the news of its outstanding efforts has contributed to that impression. From the establishment of ADA-verse, whose activities are aimed at supporting African crypto startups, to the Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson's trips to the continent and meetings on the tour with the presidents of states, everything signals Cardano's ambitious plans to promote technology in Africa. This part of the world is regarded as underdeveloped in crypto terms, but massive in human potential. Cardano's African connections are not restricted to private companies. Last year, the blockchain's parent firm, IOG, announced a partnership with the Ethiopian Ministry of Education, and Hoskinson had meetings with the presidents of Zanzibar and Burundi. If Cardano's presence in Africa countries continues to grow at this scale, the blockchain will gain a firm position on a continent of 1.5 billion people and secure a fair share of its crypto market. Then, as an investment, Cardano ADA will definitely be worth your money. Furthermore, Africa is flooded with hundreds of millions of people with no bank accounts, no access to reasonable credit, no definitive proof of qualifications, and no proof that they own the land where they have lived for ages. But why? The centralized government has failed them. Cardano has made it a mission to amend this power trap and help African nations in such a way that they will not only compete with the West, but become world leaders in AI and advanced robotics. In the past, the fate of billions of Africans have been decided in the boardrooms of the West and in the golf resorts where the power elites play, but Charles Hoskinson has got some news for them. The blockchain is not influenced by the politics of the day or the geopolitics of the largest nations over the small ones. In Cardano's vision for Africa, code is king, and the code transcends the government, and if the government tries to move in a particular direction, they cannot, Hoskinson said. According to Hoskinson's explanations, when Cardano's protocols are installed, that's the way it stays, and the users own the assets, he added. We have more demand than supply, and there are now more than 900 decentralized applications deployed on the Cardano ecosystem. With many involved in the GovTech business, people see an opportunity there. John O'Connor, the head of operations at IO Global, stated that the blockchain has proven to be secure and not susceptible to manipulation from power groups. He further added that its protocol is guaranteed to be secure so long as 51% of the stake of its native ADA cryptocurrency is held by honest participants, which, in addition to other novel concepts, is achieved through random leader selection. Describing the governance system in Cardano emphasized the fact that it would make impactful decisions about software updates, technical improvements, and funding decisions to ensure that the blockchain remains democratic. Cardano has been slow to kick off the starter block, being years behind first movers like its rival Ethereum, but they believe that building a Web3 world will not be a 100-meter sprint. O'Connor noted that Cardano has developed slowly, with each step forward backed by peer-reviewed research. The blockchain is now mature to underpin a blockchain solution that can scale to serve an entire national population. Ardent proponents of rival blockchains have lambasted Cardano for languishing in development for what seems like an eternity. However, the blockchain is just starting to make an impact, and its first evidence of fulfillment is landing in Africa. Despite the criticisms, Cardano is going all in with his promises to Africa. Deals concerning mobile technology and healthcare are also on the table. Speaking of making impacts, the global digital healthcare platform, Ask the Doctor, switched from Ethereum's blockchain to Cardano's. One of the reasons for this remarkable shift is due to Cardano's strong presence on the African continent. Much of Charles Hoskinson's vision for the African continent lies in the continent's approval of new technologies. He views the demand as the greatest in developing countries, making them the best nations for these kinds of innovations. In a YouTube video about the road ahead for Africa, Hoskinson explained that big powerhouses like the US will not be where the growth in tech comes from. Quote, "So if we say, where will the greatest demand for the type of technology we build over the next 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, is going to start in places like the continent of Africa. Everything is on the table. New voting systems, new property systems, new payment systems, new ways of identifying people, and new ways of trading securities." End quote. It is an undeniable fact that Cardano is making a big push that is exciting for a continent that is often overlooked. If African citizens get to decide who sits at their table, Cardano might stand a huge chance. However, this is not entirely possible. Cardano's resilience in helping Africa applies to the rollouts of its updates and projects. The imminent Cardano Vasil hard fork has successfully attracted the interest of keen crypto enthusiasts and is projected to be one of the key crypto events in September 2022. The Vasil hard fork has faced different delays and problems. One of the problems which also caused ADA coin price to plunge was the Twitter thread made by a developer about the Cardano testnet being catastrophically broken. As a result, there was a market reversal. However, the Cardano founder gave out some explanations which seemed to calm the storm. Cardano's Alonzo upgrade, which introduced smart contracts, experienced similar issues. When it was finally launched, Hoskinson said, "This upgrade is the culmination of 6 years of backbreaking work with some of the brightest minds in blockchain and beyond." This upgrade summarizes the story behind 2021 being a golden year for Cardano. Vasil will feature additional CIP mechanisms, extended UTXOs, and Hydra integration. The CIPs proposed in the hard fork focus on improving the Plutus smart contract's language usability and capacity, so it's safe to conclude that something big is coming for Cardano. So far, the Cardano blockchain and its ADA cryptocurrency have scored impressive points. Most countries and investors are anticipating more. So the question for you is, how confident are you about Cardano? Let us know down in the comment section below. We will see you in the next video, but before then, check out our other videos to find out how Cardano is living up to the dream of being the Ethereum killer. And as always, make sure you click on the subscribe and notification buttons.